Hollywood megastar Angelina Jolie put aside time from her glamorous life producing, directing and sometimes acting in movies to carry out humanitarian aid work in Rome. Jolie, who was raised a Catholic and dedicates much of her time to doing work for the United Nations Refugee Agency, paid a visit to the Bambino Gesù pediatric hospital just outside the walls of Vatican City on March 30th. Here she met Ukrainian children who had arrived in Italy after fleeing the war in their home country, some of whom are very sick. UNICEF estimates that 2 million child refugees have left Ukraine since the start of the war, with a further 2.5 million displaced internally and 60% of Ukrainian children forced to leave their homes. Jolie also met the doctors and nurses who have been charged with taking care of the refugees. The star of the recent Marvel movie Eternals received a Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award for her humanitarian work in 2013 and has been a special envoy for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees since 2012, undertaking dozens of trips to visit camps with refugees from countries such as Yemen, Burkina Faso, Venezuela and many more.
I didn't know love till you arrived, babe. Losing the line, I know you like it, 'cause I just know you're feeling this too, yeah, this too. I living on these, I'm holding my time, looking for love, baby, never I find. When I wanna love you, when I wanna stop time. I living on these, I'm holding my time, looking for love, baby, never I find. When I wanna love you, when I wanna stop time. When you listen your back is amazing, no one here. It's like you, boy. When you listen your back is amazing, no one here. It's like you, boy. Tell me don't waste my time. Wanna love you, boy. When you listen your back is amazing, no one here. It's like you, boy. Na 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 na. It's like you, boy. Na 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 na. It's like you, boy. Na 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 na. It's like you, boy. Na 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 na. It's like you, boy. Na 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 na. It's like you, boy. Na 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 na. It's like you, boy. Na 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 na.
The actress and humanitarian spent 2 days in Washington, D.C. to advocate for the passage of the Justice for All Reauthorization Act of 2022. Angelina Jolie and daughter Zahara Jolie Pitt concluded a 2-day visit to Washington, D.C. on Wednesday after meeting with lawmakers to advocate for the passage of the Justice for All Reauthorization Act of 2022, which aims to protect crime victims. In addition to creating a new crime victims' right to evidence and agency reports, the measure aims to improve forensic science, end the rape kit backlog, and address racial disparities and wrongful convictions that persist in America's criminal legal system. A source close to the actress and humanitarian told People that Jolie and her daughter spent the trip meeting with members of Congress and the White House to discuss a new provision in the legislation, which would give crime victims access to crime reports and evidence of their abuse. Currently, there's no method within the federal government that provides crime victims with the right of access to their own records of crimes they experienced and reported. Jolie, a longtime advocate for refugees through her work with the United Nations, told lawmakers. She continued, "This is an issue across the country. Survivors need their records of reporting crimes they or their children experienced to advocate for health and trauma care and for safety protections in family court." Jolie added that access to these records should be a right for all families. In photos from the visit, the Academy Award winner and her daughter can be seen meeting with Patrick Leahy, one of the bill's sponsors, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. The source told People the actress also met with members of the White House Gender Policy Council about legislative priorities ahead of this week's launch of the U.S. strategy to prevent and respond to gender-based violence, and also attended Tuesday's signing of the Respect for Marriage Act. "I was honored to attend this historic and joyous bill signing for a law that ensures dignity and safety for LGBTQ and interracial couples and families," Jolie told People in a statement. While in D.C. advocating on issues concerning abuse with those who've been affected, Zahara and I were glad to also celebrate love and the security the Respect for Marriage Act provides. Zahara, who began attending Spelman College in the fall, has joined her mom on previous visits to D.C. to advocate for issues including the Violence Against Women Act. Jolie has also previously advocated in the Capitol for the Family Violence Prevention and Services Act and the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, part of her decades-long record of global advocacy for the health and protection of children and families.